Welcome. This is Jordan with Foodbevy, the online community for food and beverage founders. And today I'm talking with Gina, founder and CEO of Holy Dose. So Gina, let's jump right into it. I'd love for you to tell me a bit about the company, the product, and how you got started.
Yeah, thank you, Jordan. Hi, I'm Gina Holzer, and I'm the founder of Holy Dose. Holy Dose is a beauty and health supplement brand with ingredients that are clean, pure, and all supported by science to improve your physical health, your mental health, but as well as your the health of your hair, skin, and nails, all through nourishing your cells. And so, how Holy Dose got started was during my journey, my personal journey of health and beauty. So, I grew up with a very weak immune system. I used to get sick 2 times a year at minimum, and there wasn't a year that this didn't happen. And each time that I did get sick, it lasted from 2 weeks to a month. So it was pretty severe. And on top of that, I grew up not happy with the way the health of my skin and hair specifically. And so I set out and tried countless products, including topicals, vitamins, even food, changing my diet to try to improve all of these things. But nothing that I tried worked or gave me any type of results that were drastic. And so after the span of 10 years, I did more research and started to experiment with supplements in my tiny New York City apartment, which is when I finally saw results for the very first time, besides my hair, skin, and nails, and the health of that and all of that. I didn't get sick in over 1 year, which is significant because, that's never happened before. So that's when I decided to start Holy Dose to help everybody get to that point of feeling their best, physically, mentally, but as well as the outside.
That's amazing. Talk about some of the obstacles that you faced in starting the company and growing.
So, yeah, I would say the first obstacle that we kind of hit was manufacturing. It's with food and beverage and supplements and this whole space with manufacturing, you have to either know somebody, a manufacturer, you have to get leads, or you have to go out on your own and find them, which is what I had to end up doing and kind of teaching myself along the way. But it was difficult because they don't want to talk to you if you're a new brand. It's very uncommon for them to take on new brands who have a smaller volume. So that was a very big challenge in the beginning. I do have to say that manufacturing is still somewhat of a challenge, meeting timelines and quantities and all of that. It can get pretty complex. Yeah.
So to add on top of all the other complexity, earlier this year, the entire world was hit with COVID. And so how has your business been affected throughout the pandemic?
So we've had to pivot in all sorts of directions, as I'm sure all companies out there. But so we were mainly a virtual team before. Our team was based in New York City, and we would meet a few times a week. But due to COVID, it's forced our team to become 100% a virtual team. So our team left the city due to COVID. The conditions were they were not the best there. And so now our team is dispersed all over the place. I'm in California. Some other team members are in California, Oregon, all over the country. But that's definitely one way that we had to pivot. And then we also had to change our operations, marketing, all sorts of strategies and plans that we had, including retail. So, through COVID, especially through in the beginning of March, which was when everything started, we had all these plans that we were working on for so long. And all of a sudden it hit and we had to change in all sorts of directions. And there was even, I think it was like the first 2 weeks or something, you didn't know what would happen even the next day, like forget the next week, right? And so we just had to take it day by day and honestly, even hour by hour with what we were putting out there, content, talking to customers, trying to understand the customers, where they're at and what they're feeling. So yeah, that was those are the changes that we had to make.
Yeah, talk about what are some of the things that you learned from customers in terms of what they're looking for during this time and how it relates to your product.
So customers are definitely more. They're honing in more into their health and well-being. So I mean, the health and wellness industry has grown drastically, right, over the past decade, especially the past few years. But we've noticed that this year, customers are actually taking action to try to improve their health and well-being, whether it's through supplements or beverages or food, nutrition, diet, all of that, exercise. They're actually making a bigger effort, and they're honestly, what we've noticed, they're purchasing more to try to improve their health and well-being, both inside and out. So that's one thing that we've learned about our customers during this time. And another is that we've noticed that customers are more open to buying more quantities at one time now. I don't know if it's because they, might think there's there won't be enough eventually, but from what we noticed, they're making that commitment to try products that improve their health as opposed to just kind of testing the waters and whatnot. So yeah, those are, I would say, the major things that we've noticed.
Yeah, it's interesting that, this is one of the few times that we've actually experienced a semi food shortage, or at least that fear shortage. And so people
Right,
are
right.
having that higher bulk mentality. What do you
Mhm.
forecast the industry to look like in 6 months or to a year?
I think that the customers, they'll definitely continue to purchase products that are geared towards their health and well-being, but more so, specific parts of their health and well-being. So whether that's your mental health, your gut health, your sleep cycles, even your inner health. Ingestible beauty is intersecting with the world of food and beverage. So I see, customers, they're more educational about what they're purchasing in the industry. So I see that, they'll be more picky. They'll vet companies more, brands more, to see what ingredients are in there. Is it clean? What will it do for me? But I also see the food and beverage industry moving more online. I mean, it's already been moved online a lot within the last couple of years, but more so, maybe more delivery, more door-to-door delivery, local delivery. In that sense, I feel like it's going to be more local, and online.
I love that. If looking at kind of the numbers of the past couple of years, food has always lagged behind the online adoption and sales for every other category, like electronics and beauty.
Hmm.
And so it's interesting to see that starting to even out in that potential. And then, based on
Right.
your experience of running Holy Dose, if you had to give one piece of advice to an emerging brand or a new founder, what would you tell them?
Oh, just do it. Just get started. It's there's nothing worse than just you having a plan and a goal and a dream and just having it sit there. You just got to do it. I mean, it's nerve-wracking. It's scary. It's scary every day, no matter how successful or big you are, right? But you just got to do it and get started, and don't be afraid to pick up the phone and call anybody that you need to, even old friends that you haven't spoken to in like 10 years, or trying to find a lead for a vendor, right? Don't be afraid to cold call or cold email, because unfortunately, that's, if you don't have those connections, those are the only way that that you can get there. But just get started and start working towards what you want to build.
I love that. And then, final question: If you had do you have any asks for the industry or things that you're looking for that would help your business?
Oh yes, absolutely. My ask would be more so, how is retail evolving in the industry during this time, whether it's the rest of the year or a year from now? How is it evolving? The space is becoming more saturated as well, with a lot of new brands emerging. So for retailers, what are specifics that they're looking for, and what distribution channels should brands be expecting, or where should we be searching for distribution channels in terms of retail? I think that's a big one, because that's one thing that we've found a little challenging this year due to COVID. So I would love to learn more about that.
If anyone has any information or feedback for that request, feel free to reach out to Gina or myself and comment on that. We greatly appreciate it. Gina Holzer, founder of Holy Dose, thanks so much for being on today.
Thank you so much, Jordan.